Om. 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 Sai Ram, everyone. Just to recollect what we were discussing last week, Arjuna had just seen the Vishwarupa Darshana of Krishna, and Lord Krishna is teaching Arjuna about action, who is the real doer, and so on. And I think that spurred a conversation or discussion among us as to what is our role and how can our actions be aligned with the Lord. We also touched upon what is free will and so on. I think the conclusion was that we do the best we can, replicating what the Lord does for the entire world, looking after everyone, supporting everyone, coming to the aid of everyone. So in a small, minuscule way, if we also do, we will be taking part in that work of the Lord and derive joy from that. I think that was in a nutshell, I thought we discussed. And, we also talked about Nishkama Karma, whatever we engage in, we should do it without any desire for personal benefit and so. So I will stop here and I will ask the sisters to continue from where we left off. Sai Ram, sisters.
Sai Ram. Did you see, Arjuna? Have you known by this that I am the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of all activity and of all beings and objects? Have you realized that you cannot save anyone on this battlefield, nor can you kill anyone? You have no power to kill, nor have they the power to die by their own efforts. Living and dying are both directed by my will. I bear the burden of the earth. I create the burden. I relieve it, said Krishna, fondly patting Arjuna on the back and speaking softly to assuage his ecstatic excitement. This incident is a fine example to illustrate how God is bound by sincerity of devotion and how he bends to console and encourage his devotees. Just imagine, how could this Arjuna, who was so hesitating and nervous until he got ocular demonstration like an ordinary mortal, face and conquer mighty heroes and masters of all arts like Bhishma, Drona, and Karna. They were conquered by his will. Arjuna wiped the tears from his eyes. He folded his hands in prayer. O Lord, I see the Vishwarupa, which I had never before seen nor heard about, or even conceived. I realize that it is the factual truth. Those terrific flames of splendor are scorching me. My body is sizzling under the impact of that glory. Present yourself before me once again with the sweet smiling form of yours. I can no longer bear this vision, Father. Resume your form. I cannot continue to look upon this, pleaded Arjuna.
Thank you, sister. So we had read this only and the discussion started, or most of the session was discussing certain concepts which Swami has taught us. So I will open it up to everyone. If you would like to discuss any other points or anything, any other thoughts which you would like to share with everyone, please do so, Sai Ram.
Is there any significance for why Arjuna calls Krishna father at this point?
You know, I think auntie is the best person to say. So he uses the word Tandri. Okay, Tandri means father, literally. But my understanding is even a child can be called Tandri. A friend also can be called Tandri. You know, it's a term of endearment.
Endearment, correct.
Sorry, auntie, this is right?
It's a term of endearment. It's not exactly father. Father, of course, is father. But when we call our own children also sometimes Tandri, out of affection, out of love, we call our own children as Tandri, please come here. Yeah, that's the way how you address our own children. Krishna is addressing, what is it? Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Tandri. It's out of love.
I think he must have had love for his father, so he's just expressing that. If you loved your father as the closest, then you would call anyone. And your children, small girls are also called Amma, like
Amma, Vamma. We always say, Vamma. Amma here is showing your love.
Does anyone has anything to say? If not, we can. Oh, I guess I don't know.
When it says that Arjuna was shaking with fear, is it meaning to say that like he was just behaving like a normal person, almost like, and he was able to beat Bhishma and Drona only because of Krishna?
So you are referring to what, the second paragraph or something?
Yes, with something about shaking with fear.
Yeah, correct. Bhakta Vatsaludu, Bhakta Paradhinudu Atalo, ఈ ఘట్టము ప్రత్యక్ష నిదర్శనము ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రమాణము కాకున్న సామాన్య మానవుని వలె అదరి బెదురుచున్న అర్జునుడెక్కడ మహావీరులు సర్వశక్తిమయులు సర్వ విద్యా ప్రవీణులు భీష్మ ద్రోణుడు. There he says that.
Yeah, so that's, I think so.
Yeah, sorry, to the second paragraph.
That hesitating and nervous, that's the thing. I think when we translated, I think that's the way it's in Telugu. That's the reason. Yeah. So I will again open it up to anyone to comment. Was Arjuna so scared, a person, that he was shaking? And is that the reason why Krishna says he wouldn't have been able to kill Bhishma, Drona, Karna by Krishna's will that he was able to accomplish? That's the question. Anyone who would like to comment, please do so. Madam Kalyani, I think maybe no one is. I hope people are not hesitating and nervous.
I think,
Yes, brother.
Yeah, I think, like everything happened by the God will. He used as an instrument to every person for anything happen. So that's what I think, that's what is Krishna's meaning here. That's what my understanding is, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Anyone else?
Saira,
yes.
So one, if we see among all the people who were there on the battlefield that day, Arjuna was the most worthy recipient of the Gita, and that's why Lord Krishna gave the Bhagavad Gita to Krishna. So to Arjuna. So in terms of worthiness, of course, Arjuna takes an exalted position. He had several accomplishments. Swami would, in fact, during the discourses, reel out all the titles that Arjuna had, like Dhananjaya, Kiriti, Partha, and so many things Swami would say. So in terms of accomplishments, definitely Arjuna himself is a very, very great accomplished person and a very worthy person to receive the celestial song from Lord Krishna. So that there is no doubt. But in the context when Swami is telling about Arjuna with that of Drona, Bhishma, Karna, and all these people, they themselves are great warriors in their own right. But when Swami is talking about Arjuna having that fear and then saying all that, it is what the capacity of a bulb. So at the end of the day, when we are in the human form, we have a certain capacity to contain that divine energy that comes in torrents when the Vishwarupa happens. So obviously a 25-watt bulb cannot take something like 1,000-watt energy or more. So it is in that way that when he is exposed to that awe and glory that is limitless, which cannot be contained in a limited form, that is the human body, that's where the whole thing of shaking and quivering with fear happens. And overall, of course, the Lord has explained that he is the one who is the generator, operator, and destroyer. So that part of destroying, all of that is being accomplished. But in terms of relative sense, Swami is just trying to put forth great warriors on the other side, and individually they are great, and collectively more so they are great. But they could all be vanquished because of, I think, Arjuna's ability to understand that bit of Gita that was given to him, and if not completely comprehended, at least some bit of it, which could ultimately make him wage that war with Krishna's help and succeed. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else who would like to comment? So while reading that line, Kalyani, one of the phrases which stood up was, Swami says, like an ordinary mortal. In Telugu, Swami says, Samanya Manavuni Vale. So that statement, it looks as if Arjuna was not a ordinary person. But at that moment, he seemed to be like an ordinary person. Okay, so I think he's not taking away from the glory of or the exaltedness of Arjuna in the statement itself. So he is not a Samanya person. As Sai Satya says that he was picked and chosen to even to be taught the Gita. So he had lots of qualifications, as Sai Satya said, Swami always reels out all the names of Arjuna. I think we all should memorize. I think maybe we should list it, Sai Satish, one day and make it available to everyone so people can also memorize. Because every time Swami brings up Arjuna, he will mention.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It'll be good for everyone. I think maybe we should have a discussion on the names of Arjuna as one of the sessions. Let's see. Okay, so I think so, Kalyani. So at that moment, he seemed to be like a bit weak. So he was easily overwhelmed by that sight of Krishna. But I think that also gave him lots of confidence, because the reality is, I think Swami is harking back to that original state where Arjuna saw both the sides, and he couldn't hold the bow, it slipped and fell, and he couldn't stand. It was not out of fear, out of a sense of gloom, out of a sense of what will happen, is it the right thing to do? So he was a bit shaken from that sense. But I think seeing the Lord, from what is stated here, without if not for the Vishwarupa Darshan, Arjuna may have not been fully liberated from that weakness which he felt at the start of the Bhagavad Gita itself, is the way I see this. I hope others can also comment, Sire.
And sorry, the last part of that paragraph is saying that in order to defeat such great warriors, Krishna told Arjuna that you need to surrender to me. Is that right?
So Swami is telling, Sharanagatudain Arjunani Pondamani Telipenu. Tanakku Sharanagatu. So the statement is, Krishna is telling, these are anyway such great people, you can't win them by yourself. Even though Arjuna is a great warrior, but the names which Krishna mentioned are people much of a higher caliber, if not equal. If not higher, equal at least. But I would say Krishna held them in high esteem, and Arjuna also knew that Karna was a great warrior, Bhishma was great. Drona is the one who taught him anyway, archery. So it's not easy to overcome all three of them. And I think that's why Krishna is saying, so you are surrendered to me, who is capable of everything. I think that's instruction from Krishna, yes. Sai Ramanti, is it right, Auntie? So,
yeah, next paragraph, even Krishna is acknowledging that he is having Ananya Bhakti, which does not admit of the least distraction. He couldn't take this distraction because so much of splendor is coming out of all the Vishwarup forms that he couldn't bear it. He wanted to see the kind-looking Krishna. That's what I think. His devotion could bear to see that fearful splendor. It's all kind of things with all even the snakes and all creations were there. It was little too much for Arjuna to bear because he had Ananya Bhakti and he didn't want to see any other form other than the form he wanted to see.
okay, thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
I may be wrong, but I thought.
No, Auntie, sorry. Thank you, Sairam. Brother Tasan, please go.
Yes, Sairam, brother. Here the second paragraph, when you have the bhakti or devotion with the God, even though you find difficult to defeat these three people, or Bhishma, Karna, but because of the devotion, the Lord is the one put some suggestion, and he is the one help Arjuna to defeat them. Thank you, brother.
Sairam, brother. Thank you. So, Bani Auntie is what I stated. So I hope it's okay.
Here, what?
The Tanaku Charanagudu today, na Arjuna.
Arjuni Pandamani Telipino. Here, that I feel Karna, Drona, and Bhishma, they were great warriors. And Krishna is telling Arjuna, that you would not have been able to defeat them without my grace. Without my, that's what he is trying to tell. So surrender to me. I'll definitely take care of all the things. And one more thing, what I wanted to say was, even though Arjuna deserved such great warriorship and all those things, he was really great, worth deserving candidate for Bhagavad Gita. But the human side of Arjuna, that cannot be forgotten. It cannot be. So he shows that he is really scared of, after looking at Vishwarupa Darshana, he had that sudden fear which was catching him, and he behaved just like an ordinary human being. That's all I feel. So, Sairam.
Auntie, just to go back, because I was reading that. Swami, if you look at the Bhakta Vatsaludu, Bhakta Paradhino Danu Talo,
Pratyaksha Nidarshanamu.
Pratyaksha Pramanamu Kakunna.
Otherwise, Kakunna. Otherwise.
Samanyam. So without that, where is it? If not for the
grace of the Lord.
Grace of the Lord, yes. And Bhakta Paradhina means who is the servant of who is at the call of the devotee, and also who proved him with a vision, with Darshanamu, Pratyaksha Pramanamu. All this, I think, Krishna blessed Arjuna with.
Yeah.
If not for that, what would happen to Arjuna? Is that right?
Correct. That's correct. Otherwise, Samanya Manavani Vale. Arjuna is only a Samanya Manava. But for this great Bhakta Vatsala, Bhagavan Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, Bhakta Paradina, and he has shown his Pratyaksha Nidarshana. He has illustrated so that he is not this ordinary Krishna, Devakinandan Krishna. He is the supreme absolute Lord. So after seeing that, the human part of Arjuna was of course scared.
Thank you. Yes, Sister Anandi.
Sai Ram, I just thought about we all always think that even if we have all the spiritual the sadhana and everything, why we are unable to receive the God's darshan, or even sometimes without knowing we may be thinking that why we are not getting the Vishwarupa Darshanam. After you've seen this one, even Lord Shiva appears in front of us. We wouldn't be able to, look at. We wouldn't be able to either see that darshan, or we wouldn't be able to enjoy that darshan. That's why Swami always says that you look at God within you or look at in others. That is the the easiest way, or maybe we would be able to that would be the best way. Even God is willing to show his or her darshan, God or goddess. We wouldn't be able to receive that because we are not prepared, or our energy level, or the physical, mental, intellectual, or maybe the spiritual capacity, it wouldn't allow us to even open the eyes to get that darshan. Now I clearly understand that from the the Archuna's question and his actions, or the behavioral, we wouldn't be able to get that one and enjoy in that level. That's why I think that first we have to see the God within us, and then we have to see and enjoy the divinity in others. That would be the most maybe simplest and the affordable way of the seeing the God. We all maybe imaginary, we all think that the Lord Shiva with Sulam and those things should appear and give us a boon or something. Even if the God is ready, we are not ready to receive that one. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you, sister. Auntie, just to help a little, because I will go back to Kalyani's question. He asked whether Krishna is asking Arjuna to surrender to him. But I just reread, it's in English. In the original translation, it is not there. So I think Kalyani must have taken notes while I was translating, so I was taking another look at it. Swami is saying, Atti Mahaviralanu Odinchinatti Ghanata, Vadincinatti Ghanata, Tanakku Sharanagutudaina Arjunani Pondamani Telipinu.
Sharana Gutudaina எழுதிருக்கு. It's wrong.
So that means he is already surrendered, isn't it? So so Kalyani, what Krishna is telling Arjuna, who you have surrendered to me, you need to obtain the greatness required to win over these warriors, as well as to kill them. So he's asking him to receive that greatness. Yeah. So I think, it looks as if Krishna is telling, I am giving it to you, you take it. You have already surrendered to me, so I am giving you. So I don't think my original, if I have translated like that, it's wrong.
Once again, I will read it out.
Okay, Auntie.
Atti Mahavirulanu, that is Bhishma, Karna and others. Atti Mahavirulanu, Odichinatti Ghanata, the greatness that you have defeated them. or vadinchinnatti ghanata, or the greatness of killing them. తనకు శరణాగతుడైన అర్జునుని పొందమని తెలుపెను. శరణాగతుడైన అర్జునుని పొందమని తెలిపెను. What does that mean? అర్జునుని శరణాగతుడైన అర్జునుడు.
Arjunani. So he's asking the son Arjuna, who has already surrendered to him, to receive or obtain that greatness of having killed them, or greatness. So he's blessing him of sorts, and also saying that I will be there. So you
accept that greatness of killing these three great warriors, and the greatness of defeating them. You take it. You pondamani telipenu. You take it from me. You are already surrendered to me. So the greatness belongs to you also.
Exactly.
That's correct.
Yeah. Thank you, Auntie. Okay. So Kalyani, I hope that clarifies the question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. It's good that you asked. We rush over these things. It's good.
Very good, very good. That's very subtle detail is there. Thank you, Kalyani.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, so Sairam, brother, here in the second sentence, that God is bound by sincerity of devotion. Because of the sincerity and devotion, I think the surrender is not mentioning here. Because of sincerity of a devotion, and I will help you. So here, even though he cannot kill these three people, Bhishma, Karna, and Dronacharya, and all three warriors killed because of Lord Krishna only gave the hint, and he is the one helped to Arjuna to kill them, because he is when you have the devotion, he will do anything for you.
Yeah, brother Dasan, it's here. Bhakta Paradina. That word has been translated as bound by sincerity. That's all.
Yeah.
There is nothing special. Bhakta Paradina. He always is bound by the devotion of our devotee. That's it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Brother Dasan, just to clarify, in the Telugu, there are a couple of few sentences which have not been translated in the original English. So when Auntie was reading Telugu, I had quickly tried to translate, and I think Kalyani has taken note of that. So that's why she's trying to clarify that translation, asking whether Krishna asked Arjuna to surrender to him again. But I read the sentence again, and that's how we clarify. Krishna is telling Arjuna who had already surrendered to him, to obtain, to accept or take the greatness of winning these great warriors, and killing these great warriors, to get obtain the greatness. So he's telling, I am behind you. I am doing it. You have already surrendered to me. So Auntie is saying, because Arjuna has surrendered to Krishna, now what Krishna does is also Arjuna's. So I think that's thank you.
The credit belongs to Arjuna also.
Yes, brother Sai Satish, you had a doubt, you said.
I was just going to ask that Pondedi, that is the act of obtaining, is it? I just wanted the
obtaining.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because yes, Auntie.
Pondamani telipenu. You take it. Pondu. Tisko. Otherwise, Pondedi into obtaining. Correct.
Okay, Auntie. Thank you. I was just, because ultimately it's, yes, sir.
It's an instruction. It's like Pondu.
Yeah, it's more like I've finished. I've completed everything. You just take the credit for what I've already done. I've finished everything. Yeah, that is.
Because he already saw in the Vishwarupa Darshan that they all killed anyway.
Yes, and I'm also remembering it in the context of that sight of Rudra that Arjuna sees going in front of him, like that bee or the thing, right? Where everybody just falls and he is wondering. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah.
Sometimes children, they do a small job, for example, removing snow, even though they can't do everything. But the mother does it and the mother gives, oh, you have cleared the snow. She will give the credit to the children. So just like that, Krishna is giving credit to Arjuna.
Yes, Sister Shivani.
A question. So my understanding from the discussion, I'm just trying to say how it will be in the practical sense. Yes, Arjuna is representing human being. He has surrendered to Bhagawan that, all my actions, all my deeds are surrendered to you. And what I'm learning from here is, in real life, sometimes, how economical, social, political position affect our thinking, not to, I should not say challenge, but something you'd see it's wrong, but because of the status, you say, oh, I may be wrong because the person is at certain level. What I'm hearing is Bhagawan is saying, doesn't matter as far as you have surrendered to me, as you offered, if you feel, if you know this is wrong, even though on the other side, Bhishma and Drona and Karna are there, or in real life, people like at that level are standing and you are doubting your skills. How could I? They are much more caliber. Their status is so much. So you start doubting yourself. So I'm thinking as a human being, if I surrender my action to Bhagawan, I think I know I'm kind of, how would as a human being, or should I go internally to receive that message of, I am behind you? Because that's what Lord Krishna is saying. You have surrendered it, but now, you know what? He's okaying, you go ahead. How would you hear that? How would you know? You know that you have done the right thing. You know that you are feeling that this is wrong. You have surrendered to Bhagawan. If I am the change maker, let me go forward. If I'm not, give me the vision. I should not be changing. How would I hear that?
Don't hear what, sister?
That should I move forward with what I'm thinking this is wrong, and I take action and challenge that this is wrong.
Okay, so you are surrendered, but you want some confirmation. Is that
That's right. That's right.
Thank you. So, Sairam, I will open it up for discussion. So, sister says she has surrendered, but she's not too sure whether she has surrendered, and she wants confirmation from Krishna that now you do what I, what. And I think that there's a sense of doubt also whether what I'm doing is right or wrong also. Is that right, sister?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that doubt?
No, I see internally many times we know what I'm thinking is right. How I do is, if I'm not in that picture, if I'm not thinking about my own well-being, if it's for other people, and this is the right action, this is righteousness. So the action or the thinking is right.
Okay.
But am I the change maker, or my action will create more mess? Sometimes keep quiet is much better than, it's just, so I don't know, should I move forward?
So that means we have still some doubt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, true, yes.
See, you are confident, but you also have doubt.
Am I doubt? Is it Bhagwan is permitting me to move forward? Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I will open it up for discussion. So sister is trying to see how do we practically apply what we are reading and learning in our own life when we encounter different situations. We surrender to Swami. Then we say we have surrendered Swami, we are going to do this. And then you get second guess and think, oh, am I really doing the right thing? How will, and I want Krishna to tell, or Swami to tell, no, you are right, go ahead and do. I think that's what she's asking.
And if I add one more layer, like sometimes it's a human mind that, if people you see younger or junior or at your level, it's much easier to have that kind of, confrontation or say. But when the status, I'm more harping on when Dronacharya, on, or all those people are on the opposite side, karna. And in the real life, you will see those people as well. As I say, economical status, social status, political status, you're not able to take that position.
Good question, sister. Thank you. Thank you. Auntie Saku, please go ahead.
Yes, on page 217, the third paragraph, Krishna says, I am the inner Atma in the lotus heart of each and every being. And if you believe and direct your life on the basis of the belief that the inner Atma is in every being is my Paramatma, that is enough dhyana for you. That is enough confirmation for you. I am adding that sentence. See that this belief is not shaken or overthrown. Stick to it steadily. Practice that belief. Apply in your deeds, words, and thoughts. Then the experience of oneness of you being me and I being you can be achieved. So you don't need somewhere to Baba to come and physically appear and tell you you're right or you're wrong. You have to feel it. How will you feel it? In your heart, you should feel it because you know you are seeing Paramatma in all creations of Baba, and then you can do your thoughts, words, and deeds accordingly without any kind of doubt in your mind whether Baba will approve or whether Baba will not approve. That confusion should not come when you are one with Swami. That experience should come through practice. Sorry. This is my understanding.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you.
Am I wrong?
Auntie, why are you asking?
I'm asking you.
No, because you already gave the answer to yourself.
Okay, right. Thank you. I believe that is right.
That's all. Don't even ask. You should ask Swami. You should not ask us.
Yeah, I won't ask. No,
Yes, okay. Thank you. I'm just giving back this message, your own message. That's all. Sairam. Sairam, Sister Aruna, please go ahead.
Sairam, brother. In addition to what Sakwanti said, I think we can determine whether we are doing right or not based on our duty. So the duty is our key. So to see that is right or not, I think that point of view will direct you in the right direction. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please? Please, yes, Sister Ananthi.
Sairam, for Sister Shivani's question, I put that question to myself. My thoughts and my words, Didi, I am really sure about those are, there is no, but the incorrect motivation, or maybe there is no bad motivation, or there is nothing wrong with that. I am really sure about my word and my thought and my word. But my action, if it is for myself, that's a different case. But the action, whatever my action, it will bring the consequences for other people. I may think that my action, it will be beneficial for all other people. But other people may be thinking differently. Maybe my action, it may not be good for the other people. So in that case, even though my word and thought, good thought, even my action for myself, thought, word, and deed, action, all three synchronized. And for myself, I am really sure about the good intention, and that is right for me. For other people, it may be in their point of view, it may not be beneficial for them. So in that particular point in time, Sister Shivani's question is some sort of confirmation I would like to receive before I move on to the step 2 or step 3 to all the way to the end. So in that case, in practical point of view, what I should be doing or how I would face this situation happily and move on to my path. And uh, I really love that question in the practical point of view. And Sakwanti already explained that, if you have your good thought and word, and if you think that that is right, and then you move, you don't need any further confirmation from anyone. And even the practical point of view, even a good person or not good person, always think about these three. In their point of view, all three would be synchronizing. That's why even they say that meditation not only for the spiritual parlance, also they put this terminology: meditated killing, meditated for them also their word, thought, and the action, it always synchronized. So how would we get a confirmation from that we would be having the practical the experience. Sometimes Swami will come and tell us in dream, or some sort of indication. If we open the Swami's book, we will get the answer or something. So how would we get the confirmation? Maybe I thought that is a excellent practical point of view question. Thank you, Saira.
I think you also have repeated the question and explained it, if am I right? And you would also, you accepted some of the things which others have said, but I think this is a question we should ask. Is that what you're saying?
You're asking me
information? Yes, sister.
Yeah. That is my question, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Again, the question is open. There is some aspects may be answered, but still there's a confirmation. Maybe a need for confirmation. So, is there anything which we do, or we just move on as Sister Auntie Saku has said?
I guess. Sorry, go ahead.
Kalyani, go ahead first.
So I guess like if we are thinking more about like what's going to come of this, like is my action going to result in something or not result in something? Isn't that kind of where we're looking at the outcome of the action? And when Krishna's saying we should give up the fruit, then that kind of shouldn't even be in our consideration or our thought process. Like, is it that we just, if we know that something is right, then we should just do it and accept the outcome
and move on?
Yes.
Thank you. So thank you, Kalyani. Yes, Sai Satish, you were saying something.
Sai Ramana. So yeah, some of the points what Sister Kalyani just mentioned. So one is when Sister Shivani told about that action being clear that she's surrendered to God. So if it is complete surrender, it is complete selflessness. That means it's pure love. And when one is established in that state, then looking at socioeconomic status, political status, and all of those things vanishes, because if I'm still looking at it from a point of view of socioeconomic status or political status, then I'm still worried if I take this action, what will be the implications of the actions or retaliation following from that group? That means still the idea of the self exists. And as long as the idea of the self exists, surrender is not complete. And when surrender is not complete, the ideology behind that action is not complete in itself. So when we are in that complete state of surrender, that means I have the Vishwarupa with me. And when Vishwarupa is there in front of me, where is socioeconomic status and political status? Everything merges into oblivion. And what remains is only the action to be done with complete selflessness and pure love. So if the thought of the barriers exist, that means surrender is still under fruition process. And if surrender is complete, then no barriers exist. Sarah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So that's what Arjuna had, right? Because he surrendered, and then he's saying, how could I fight with people, masters like Bhishma, Drona, and Karna? Are we saying that though he surrendered, but still he had, or this is, maybe I'm not understanding the context, or this is a question before he surrendered?
Yes, Auntie, after you.
Okay, please go ahead. Satish, Sai Satish, go ahead.
Auntie, I was just going to say that this process was before, when the bow slipped out of his hand and all of that. He's looking at all of them. He sees them both as relatives. And it is interwoven in several layers. Several webs are interwoven, and he's lost. But then now, when Lord Krishna gives him the deservedness and says, go forth, it's just that you're just doing a role. They are already, everything has been settled. You're just going and playing a video game kind of a scenario and coming back. Then it's like, that's where he's able to go forth. Even then, despite that, during the course of the battle, there are several things that happen, which Lord Krishna again reinforces that. So when somebody as exalted as Arjuna is facing that kind of a dilemma after receiving the Bhagavad Gita, because there are certain other incidents that come up during the battle as well. So that is where the thing for us is to constantly ask, like I should ask myself, how pure and selfless and filled with divine love is that action? If that is the thing, then there is no barriers, because divine love has to flow to all, irrespective of whatever is there, and take away all those barriers. Then surrender is complete. Because I'm, on one hand, if I'm saying surrender is complete, then I'm worried about the consequences of having all those. If I go and what will happen, the retaliation part is also worrying me, which then questions my surrender. So I don't know if I answered your question correctly.
No,
sister,
you did. It's just I'm thinking on the opposite side. Like when my kids, they will come forth and they kind of questions or retaliate certain things. And I said, did you go through what you're asking? She said, yeah, Bhagawan knows how truthful I am, mom. But sometimes I feel, oh my God, how could you do that? Maybe coming from a culture where kids, you should not be saying that to your parents and blah, blah, blah. So I'm here, I'm a Bhishpitama, I'm Dronacharya, and I'm Karna, I'm behaving like that. And how dare you could question me? How dare you could come across? Have you gone through your conscious that you should be asking your parents like this? So I think that I'm flipping the thing, that I'm not Arjuna, my kids are Arjuna, and I'm Bhishpitama. Sorry. This is usually a question.
Then sister, it is like I can control what I can control. I cannot control. Yeah, because then I'm expecting everybody else to be also. It's not only I'm working for my spiritual redemption, everybody is simultaneously on that.
That's what I'm saying. They're working as well. They're saying, Mom, I have gone through. I know Bhagawan is with me and Bhagawan has told me to do this. So that's why I'm asking you these questions. So I'm just kind of giving them, okay, I got it.
Yeah, I'm on a learning curve here. I would benefit from inputs. I cannot, yeah. Especially if it's parenting aspect. Yeah, I'm still working on that myself. So I would step back here, Saira.
I think Auntie, you wanted to say something.
When Shivani says that her children come and tell what they have done before people like Bhishma, Drona, Karna. What is your reaction, Shivani?
Auntie, how could you question me? How could you retaliate me? How could you challenge Mom? I am much wiser than, in my mind, I'm saying that.
I think here children are much, they got trust in themselves.
That's right.
Lots of belief in themselves.
Yeah.
So I think they can answer this. They can question those people. That's what. And if you're have firm faith in the Lord, prayer to Lord will definitely help us to face such issues. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I have come across and I have overcome the mere fact kids can have eye-to-eye contact and can challenge you. First of all, that was a bigger deal for me. How could you have an eye contact? And it took me a little while to kids can have eye contact and talk to you while they're challenging you. So it's a big achievement for me, I would say. But yes, you're right. Have faith in them as well. They have that divine spark in them, right? Why I'm thinking I'm older than I'm much wiser than them, of course. Sairam.
So I think Sister Vasudha, please go ahead.
Sairam, Ganesh Chaturthi, greetings from Saskatoon. I just want to chime in on the parenting aspect when there are cultural differences. For example, in the culture we grew up, books are considered like Ma Saraswati, and you don't put books and gym shoes or, shoes in the locker at the same time. And when my son was in kindergarten, the teacher told me, like, he doesn't follow my instructions. I tell him to put the shoes on the desk at the end of the day. All the kids have to leave their shoes on the desk, indoor shoes, change and go out. But he doesn't. He keeps them on his chair or on he doesn't put them on the desk. So I explained to her that in the culture that I grew up, and what I'm teaching my kids is books and your desk, pen, everything is Ma Saraswati. So we don't put shoes in the same place or in the locker. So then we came to a compromise. I asked her, actually prior to that, I had told my son to wrap them in a plastic bag and keep, so he's, following the teacher's instructions as well. There's no direct contact with the books. So I talked to her and we had that. But even now when they're in high school now and they have gym shoes or whatever, it comes in contact with the books. And sometimes my son will touch the book and touch his hand to his forehead. Then his friend asked him, like, hey, Krishna, why do you do that? And he says, no, because my shoes touch my books. And so he explained. So after a while, I guess they see it. It took many years, but now I don't have to tell them, they do it on their own. It's just the example you said. We always leave our shoes outside the house in the garage before we come in and things like that. And then earlier, the question about if there is surrender to God, how do we confirm? Like, we're so used in today's culture, I register for a conference, I need an immediate confirmation. Please save this as your proof of registration. So condition to get, if I don't get that, I immediately email them. I send this much money, but I didn't get my proof of registration or stuff like that. I guess with God, who is universal, all encompassing, in fact, God knows our mind. Even before we've articulated, God already knows what we're thinking. And before we say, thank you, God, or please bless me, God, I guess God already knows what we're going to say. So that would be like an ultimate, attainment and enlightenment of the soul if one is at a level where nothing else exists, everything ceases, it's just God. And automatically all actions, thoughts, words, deeds are in alignment with God. So there's no other divides or strata in the society or in our own mind, or no more layers. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, sister. I think Sister Vachita also, there were some questions embedded in her response. At the same time, she has answered some of pieces, I guess. Thank you, sister. There were 3-4 hands up, and I think all of them have surrendered and left it to Swami or something like that. So, Brother Hasan, please go ahead.
Yes, Sairam, brother. Here the Arjuna is surrender, is saying surrender, but taking a longer time because of the body consciousness. The body consciousness is the big thing in this play, because everybody is thinking about connecting to the body. It could be a father, mother, spouse, children. That is the ones creating the problems. Even Krishna told, I did the war, I helped you war and everything, but I don't cling to the action. I'm not attached to the action. If you don't attach to the action, you don't need the confirmation. You don't need to think about, because you are instrument of the Lord. You are doing God's will. So we don't, that means automatically we are surrendering. Because you are doing his work. A knife cannot say, I cut the vegetable. Lord is the one doing everything. If you have those kind of statement, view in your mind, it will clear everything. Thank you.
So, brother, just a question, because you said I didn't cut the vegetable, but you may have cut the vegetable. I think Sister Shivani asked you this question. You may call your daughter or a child and say, "Look here, you were supposed to have cut the vegetables, you didn't cut." Then they can say, "No, Swami cut it already." What do you do with that such response? You expect people to you expect people around you to do something, and if they come and tell you, "I am not the doer, I won't clean my room, I am not the doer, Swami will do everything," what to do with that?
No, if you're Sanatana Dharma, if you are studying Sanatana Dharma, we have to do our duty. Whatever in the play, whatever the script they are given to you, you have to do it.
Okay, brother. Thank you. Sister Aruna.
Brother, it's going to be a really, I don't know whether my question going to be a right question even, but I'm just thinking to myself.
You just surrender to Swami and say that.
Yes, that's why the words, thoughts, deeds, and the duty, right? See, for one person, the words, thoughts, deeds, according everyone's how they it will synchronize. It's based on their consciousness based on their duty. Am I right or not, please? Because Arjuna is a warrior in the war field, the battlefield. Krishna has chosen Arjuna, so he can do like the war. He can participate in the war, right, and kill. But do you think he would have chosen another person, another Varna person for that? No. So it's always determined by the duty for the particular Varnas and particular person. So that's how the words, thoughts, deeds supposed to be aligned. I don't know whether that is right. The duty is the base and other things follow through, or when sometimes as a different Varnas, I would say, okay, I wanted to but you are not supposed to do, right? So that's something I'm thinking to myself. I don't know it's right or not, so I just started to ask here. Thank you, Saira.
So I think it's just if anyone is willing to answer that question, no, but it'll also get. Now there are 3-4 questions added to this list, so it's okay. I think Uncle Gopalan had raised his hand, but I don't know whether he still would like to share.
Sairam, I'm just listening. See, there are many points coming out of this. When we want to do something, then we assume that Swami has given okay to it. And we believe that we have surrendered to Swami. And now, after we assuming that Swami has given assurance, you go ahead and do something and it backfires on you. So, see, that is the problem many of us have. We think Swami has given the blessings, and Swami gave the blessing, but this didn't go the way it was supposed to go. So surrendering means whatever happens, you should accept the whatever happens. That's what surrender means. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uncle. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to share? Anyone else would like to surrender to Swami and speak your mind? Okay, no one is. I think they're surrendered so much that they feel they don't have to speak.
So,
And there are consequences of surrendering.
So Sairam brother, so surrender means you have to surrender your mind, body, your intellect, yourself. Everything you have to surrender. That is the full surrender.
Thank you, brother. So now there's so much of inputs. I myself am struggling to sort of make sense out of it. And but I will try. We'll go back to the first question of Sister Shivani. I think others have contributed, but I thought I will put my 2 cents also, a different angle, I would say. Yeah, I think in life, we take ourselves very seriously, too seriously. In the sense, we think that what we do has such a great impact, positive or negative. What actually Krishna's Vishwarupa Darshana actually would have told Arjuna is, you are such an insignificant particle in this universe. So this is again going back to this, I think Mani Auntie was saying, the child, if we are going to shovel snow, the child will be given a shovel and say, you are the shovel. And then the mother will give the credit to the child. So the thing is, if the child thinks, in spite of that child is only shoveling the snow. Because sometimes the children will be, whatever you have shoveled, they will put it back onto the, walkway or something like that. But they still think that they are shoveling. But the thing is, but the mother will not punish them. Mother will be happy that they are learning to shovel. So I think in this large universe, our contributions like a couple of grains of sand, which the squirrels sprinkled on this bridge. So the thing is, I think first we need to know in terms of magnitude, what is our contribution into this world, not only to this world, even each individual who is around us. So I think we can only do what we know, the right thing according to our knowledge, our understanding, our discrimination. So the faculties which God has given. As long as we are doing it sincerely, we should just do it and say, Swami, I've done my little, tiny little thing. If I need to improve, you can do it. You will do it anyway. So that confidence we should have. So I think that will erase most of the problems. But then there's another problem which we come up with, we are carrying small baggages of, our image in the society, what others think of us. All that also we will have. Now then, we have surrendered to Swami, but we have not surrendered to those people. That's the problem. Because we are worried that the little baggages which we value a lot, such as our own image, our own financial situation, our own, anything, security, anything. We are worried about that also. We think that somehow we have to take care of. Because we attribute unnecessary importance to even those things. And we are always worried about them. When we ourselves are so insignificant, those baggages which we carry are much more insignificant. But the thing is, we also should have the confidence. When we surrender, we should have the confidence that the Lord will take care of any problem. If the child is shoveling the wrong direction, the mother will fix it. Mother is fully capable and mother is so loving. As long as we are sincerely trying to do what the mother tells us to do. I think that's the thing. We have to listen to what the mother says and try our best to do it. Beyond that, it's mother's problem. Okay, that is surrender. So that's what great rishis did, devotees did. They just surrendered and did the best they thought is the best. And then they left the rest. They didn't look at the outcome. They did not worry about anything. That's something. Then the third thing is sometimes we have grown, we have learned something. We expect entire world to learn that same thing that day itself. Like we may have been doing something wrong for about decades. That one day we find out that what we were doing is wrong and we have changed ourselves. Next day we expect the entire world to change just the way we changed. So sometimes that also has some problem. And then just my comment on, I think Sister Vasudha's question about the shoes going on the table. See, in Hindu Dharma, for everything, there's a lesson. See, every day morning we get up, and before we start walking on the earth, Mother Earth, there's a prayer which we have to say. So the thing is, ultimately, the Bhumadevi, then somebody will say, if you think everything is God, isn't your shoe God? Also they can ask. So ultimately, I think it all depends on the intention. Sometimes we are forced by circumstances to do certain things. If we can avoid, that's the best. But if not, then we should sort of maybe adapt, because there are prayers to be said. So, you can say, just the way we take pardon from the Mother Earth every day morning. And we can take permission from the book and say, my teacher has instructed me to do, or, or desk or the book, and tell I am going to please pardon me. I understand both are your creation. That I think these are all opportunities for us to create a situation from where we can actually enhance our own devotion, our own understanding of divinity. So I think it's not that, if possible we can avoid, it's better. But I think these opportunities, when I was listening, I was thinking like that. I don't know. Those are the only things which I had ideas to share, so I've shared. I will stop here, Saira. So I think it's safe if everyone is okay. We have nice discussed in all different angles, and we can move on. And I think all of us would have gotten something to take home. Okay, then Sairam sisters, go ahead.
Sairam. His Grace made him agree. He said, Arjuna, you have just seen this universal form of mine, a vision which no height of Vedic scholarship or ritual asceticism or asceterity can ever hope to win. This is achieved only by the Bhakta who is devoted to me with Ananya Bhakti, devotion which does not admit of the least distraction. Such Bhaktas see only the Lord. Whatever they do as worship to the Lord. They have no other form before their eyes, no other thought in their minds, no other act for their hands. At all times and places, they see only my form. They utter only my name. They think only about me. They feel only for me or about me. They are active only for my sake. It is such, O Arjuna, that attain this vision. I too ask for only this, Ananya Bhakti. Arjuna asked with a smile and a little tremor of the lips, Lord, I realize that you are pleased with undeviating single-pointed devotion. But are you pleased with the worship of you with form or you without form? Do you prefer Sakara Upasana or Nirakara Upasana? Which melts you more and contributes to success in getting your blessings? Which is easier for the sadhaka and more welcomed by you? Please tell me. Krishna was happy that this question was asked. He said, Arjuna, I do not make any distinction between the two. I am pleased, however I am worshipped, provided the mind is saturated with me and there is steady faith in every act, word, and thought. Arjuna intercepted with the query, Krishna, are mere purity of heart and steady faith enough? Do not sex or status as fixed by the caste or the sage of life form obstacles to success? Krishna chided Arjuna and helped. I am surprised that you should ask such questions after going through all this experience. Do you not realize that for those who have fixed their minds on God, who have reposed in me, the personification of truth, eternal and pure, there will not be an iota of identification of the self with the body. Deha Bhakti, which is Deha Bhakti. If they have still the awareness of sex or caste or stage of life with all the attendant pride, humility, etc., it only reveals that they have not surrendered their minds to God. For those who have rid themselves of attachment to the body, there will not be the distraction of caste, status, etc.
Nirmala, it's Deha Bhranti.
Oh, Deha Bhranti.
Illusion.
Okay, I think, and it should, maybe we'll read the Telugu before we continue on it.
Yeah.
So much is packed, actually.
So much is packed.
I would say maybe we should just read 1 or 2 paragraphs and then.
Yeah, that's correct.
Otherwise, it is just so much material packed.
So much. Yes. Anta Krishnudu Anugraha Hrudayudai Arjuna Vedadhenam Cheta Kani Gora Tapasulache Kani Dana Dharmadi Satkarma Karmalache Gani Yagnayagadi Kratulche Gani Chuda Sadhyamukani Na Vishwarupamu Nivu Chuda Galigitivi.
Okay, thank you. So Krishna is responding to that request from Arjuna, just by way of context, that, please take your, I want to see you in a normal form, which I'm used to. Krishna is telling, with compassionate, grace-filled heart, he's telling Arjuna, even if you study the Vedas, even if you do very intense tapas, suffering lots of, subjecting your body to, very intense tapas. Even if you do dana, dharma, and so on, all good deeds, even if you do yajnas and yagas, even if you, even if you do all this, you will not obtain the vision of a form which I have shown you.
Yeah. It's not easily obtainable by yajna, yaga, dharma, satkarma, ghora tapas, vedadhyanam. One cannot get this. Itti darshanamu madeka nishtudaina oka bhaktunuku matrame praptinchunu sadhyamagunu.
So this kind of darshana is only possible for a devotee who is one-pointedly established in me. Mat eka nishturaina. So who has one-pointedly established himself on me. Only such a person is who has the possibility of obtaining it, and he will be able to obtain it.
Ananya chintanato nannu upasinchu variki idi sadhyamu kagaladu.
So all those who are worshipping me without any other distraction, any other thought of any other thing, for such people, this will definitely be possible to attain.
Attivari hrudayamu మాలిన్యరహితమై నిర్మలముగా ఉండును.
Such people's heart will be without any blemish and without any dirt. It will remain blemishless or dirtless.
ఈ సమయమున దేనిని చూచినను చేసినను భగవత్ స్వరూపముగును, భగవద్ రూపమైన కర్మలుగను తలంతురు.
So at such a time, in such a condition, whatever they see, whatever they do, the bhava, the feeling would be that it is all God's form, it's all God's deeds. That is the way they will think.
వారులకు వేరు రూపములు గాని వేరు భావములు గాని ఉండవు.
For them, there will not be any other form, there will not be any other feeling.
There will not be. సర్వకాల సర్వావస్థలయందు నా రూపమే.
Very chintanulu kani, they will not have any other thought also. And is that line not there? Very chintanulu kani undavu is there in my version.
వేరు రూపములు గాని వేరు భావములు గాని ఉండవు.
Very chintalu kani is there in the version which I have. So there will not be any other thoughts also. Okay.
సర్వకాల సర్వావస్థలయందు నా రూపమే, నా నామమే, నా భావమే, నా కర్మలే
చేయుచుందురు.
గాంచుచుందురు.
I see. Here I have చేయుచుందురు only.
గాంచుచుందురు means they are doing it.
Yeah, they will see it or something like that.
గాంచుచుంటే I think its word is done, doing.
Okay, I will check that, but for now I will just. So at all times, in all situation, they will see my name, my form, my feeling, my actions only.
గాంచుచుందురు చేయుచుందురు.
So I have చేయుచుందురు auntie, but
గాంచుచుందురు ಇಲ್ಲ. గాంచుచుందురు means karmale ganchuchundur, they are doing, and chayavan that's also another word, cheyachunduru.
Yeah, so I think
or their review, their na karmale ganchuchunduru, do they see my actions? Ganchuchunduru ante they are seeing my actions. Yeah, and they are doing the same actions. Okay. Did you?
Auntie, if I look at Kanchu, I think Kanchu is the one which is.
Kanchuchundaru.
Kanchu means to see, to view,
to see.
Process. So they will see it as that.
Yeah, Kanchuchundaru.
Appadithan Kanbargal. In Tamil we'll say
Kanbargal.
They will see it that way. Okay.
నా రూపమే, నా నామమే, నా భావమే, నా కర్మలే గాంచుచుందురు చేయుచుందురు.
Yeah, so they will see and do only. They will see my form, they will see my name, they will feel my bhava, and they will they will think that they are doing my work only.
Yeah. అట్టి వారలకే ఈ పవిత్ర ప్రాప్తి లభ్యమగును.
Only for such people, this kind of this blessing will be obtainable.
నేను అనన్య భక్తినే కోరుచుందును బావా.
Oh my brother-in-law, I only request for the undivided bhakti.
Devotion.
Ananya chintana illa, ananya bhakti.
Ananya bhaktine.
Yeah, you want to ask only the devotion which is unswavering and it's undivided.
అని విశ్వరూప సందర్శన ప్రాప్తి గురించి వివరించెను.
So thus he explained to him about the Vishwarupa Darshana.
అర్జునుని చిరునవ్వులు ముఖమున చిందులాడా.
In Arjuna's face there was a smile which danced on his lips. So his lips were trembling.
పెదలుపు కదిలించుచు, స్వామి అనన్య భక్తి మీకు అతి ప్రీతి అని తెలిసినది.
So I understand, O Lord, that for you the most dearest is Ananya Bhakti, devotion which is unswerving.
అయితే సాకారోపాసన నిన్ను తృప్తిపరచునా లేక నిరాకారోపాసన నిన్ను కరిగించునా?
So, but do you like sakara, the formful worship, or formless worship?
ఈ రెండిటిలో ఏది సాధకులకు సర్వేశ్వరుడైన మీ సులభ ప్రసన్నత చేకూర్చును?
Among these two, which one will be easily get your grace? Let's put that.
Yeah. ఇందులో ఏది శ్రేష్టమో సెలవిమ్ము అన్నాడు.
Which is the greater one, and which is? Please tell us.
Yeah.
I think we can stop here, no, Auntie?
Stop here.
So actually, in the Bhagavad Gita, this is basically end of 11th chapter and start of 12th chapter. You know, the verses being covered by Swami here. Swami, from action, Swami is taking us to devotion and to Bhakti Yoga. So I will stop here. If there are any questions, we can discuss. Saira.
When Swami says Arjuna's lips were trembling, like is it from what emotion, or is it understood?
Just emotion. You know, he realized, I think, my understanding is, you know, he was so overwhelmed that, you know, something which is so unobtainable. The Lord was so kind to give me a glimpse of that. And I think it just overwhelmed him. And that's why he's asking, oh Lord, now I have had it. You know, I want to know what, you know, how can I make it my possession? You know, you did a favor. So, you know, he's just so, you know, I am undeserving, but you have granted me. You know, I think he's just overwhelmed and with gratitude and love, I think.
Yeah.
That's Chari Auntie. That's my others can share.
Tremor of the lips, she is asking.
Brother, Sairam, one question, brother. It's in regards to that Arjuna saying he's overwhelmed with the Vishwa Darshanam, right? Because do you think at that time when he was granted with the Vishwarupa Darshan, he didn't have the Ananya Bhakti? Because of that only, he's asking to come back to that original form, which he has been used to. So that I'm trying to understand. At that time, I don't think he had Ananya Bhakti to see everything as him, and he's seeing something different. So for the Ananya Bhakti, everything has to be seen as Lord. So that's I'm just thinking about that. So I thought just to understand more on that. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. So Sister Aruna is asking whether anyone can tell whether Arjuna had Ananya Bhakti or not. It seems as if he didn't have. Is her understanding right? I think that's what she's asking. So I will pose the question to everyone. What do you all think from your vantage point, Saira? Yes, Brother Dasan.
Yes, Sairam, brother. Because of his Ananya Bhakti only, he had the Vishwadarshan. So otherwise, the one-pointedness or the one-pointed concentration, Arjuna had it. So here also, because Arjuna's lip was, you know, trembling because of Lord Krishna said, if the bhakta is only when you have that love, then I am going to give anything. That is a reason. Thank you, Brother Saira.
Saira, brother. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please? In any other aspects of what we discussed?
So a question to the question. Why, Sister Aruna, why are you saying that Arjuna didn't have Ananya Bhakti? Maybe I missed.
Because of he's asking the Lord to come back to the original form, and he's overwhelmed. If he has seen everything as God, then he wouldn't have requested it. That's why I'm saying if it's Ananya Bhakti, he has to see everything as the Lord. That's what I'm trying to understand. At that point of time, I don't think he had the Ananya Bhakti.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Yes, Sister Vasudha.
Sairam, I think he had Ananya Bhakti, and therefore God manifested in front of him. But it was because he's still a human being, he is in the mortal form, and his mind has limited capacity. He could not fathom the depth of that. He could not bear the energy that came from the Vishwarupa. And so he requested it to bring it back to its original form. But his devotion is doubtless, which is why Lord Krishna gave him that opportunity in the first place and showed him his Vishwarupa. It was just that Arjuna was not expecting that Vishwarupa, and even though he probably would have known about it, he was raised and groomed with all the vidyas, but he probably wanted God to go back to the form that is that he was used to, because he is already in a very difficult state, in a battlefield where he has to actually confront his own blood and relatives and all of that. And this brings me to my mind. I grew up in Calcutta, actually known as Kolkata, and Ma Kali is the main goddess, the deity in Kolkata. She's considered one of the many forms of goddess Durga. One of the forms is Kali, but Kali is a very ferocious looking form. And there's a lot of stories behind that, anecdotes as to why she has to take that form. And what we were taught was God is all loving and all, kind. But at times when there is adharma, God has to take certain other forms. But it depends on the depth of our mind and our devotion, whether we are able to accept all these different forms. It's not that the Vishwarupa was a terrifying form. It's just, it's so glorious that it was unfathomable to Lord Krishna, Arjuna's mind. But that doesn't mean that there was any doubt of his devotion or Ananya Bhakti. That's just my thought. Sai Ram, thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Anyone else would like to comment on anything or answer your views of Arjuna's state?
Ram, I think before we had talked about how Arjuna was not a fully realized person or a jnani, because even after he went back and asked Krishna some more questions and things like that. So I think, can you say Ananya Bhakti, if you have that, you are a jnani, you are fully realized at that point? So probably he wasn't yet at that stage. And it kind of reminds me of how even when we look at like scary situations in our life and we ask them to go back to the way they were, or like if we face some problem and it's too unbearable for us, it's kind of nice to think of how it's kind of like the scary form of the Lord still. We can.
Thank you, Kalyana. Good. You're sort of echoing what Sister Aruna is saying. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share?
I just want to add something. It came up to mind. Prahlada, when he saw the ferocious form of Lord, he was not at all scared, while everybody was scared. So, if you look at the same scenario here, I don't think it's a terrorizing form of Krishna here. It's probably so that his bhakti was the same like Prahlada's bhakti. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Any other thoughts, please?
So, Sairanda, if you want to put in a nutshell, if you want that God to be happy, or if you want to make the God happy, then you have to have the one pointness concentration. Then God will be happy. Then you will get everything, whatever you want. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, brother. Anyone? Sai Satish, please go.
Yes, I remember. So I was just trying to put it again in the context of the mother and the child. So the child would always like to see the happy face on the mother rather than an angry mother or a terrifying mother kind of a situation. So I'm just trying to put an analogy that, like, independent of this, the child always loves the mother. So while Arjuna has always been used, has always been having that relationship of brother-in-law, bhava, that's what he keeps calling throughout. And now that bhava has become what Sarvantaryami or Vishwarupa kind of a thing. So that beautiful relationship that he had, it's suddenly taken away from his reality kind of a thing, perspective kind of a thing. So always wanting that to come back the way it was is also a part of that. Of course, to say whether he has Ananya Bhakti because of that or not have Ananya Bhakti, that is another thing in itself. But his love for Krishna is always there, and he relates to Krishna as his bhava. So he would any day like to see his bhava back rather than stay in that mahabhava of seeing that overall thing. So I'm just putting it in a perspective that we know from the story of Arjuna looking at that bird's eye, that he had that single pointed attention always in his life, and that is what got him to a stage of receiving this as well. Though later on we also know about Geetha and so many things that followed, but at that point it was more in terms of getting back that relationship that he held with Krishna as his bhava, which made him raise or request that.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. I think it's 4:32. I was distracted by the time, so I am unable to practice Ananya Chintana. So I think we have to close the session today. I think we will start off next session, which will continue from where we left off. I think we can always discuss, what, just to, academically understand where Arjuna stood. I think that's a good exercise. But at the same time, I think we can also go back and see, as a devotee, where are we? I think that's also equal. So we can dwell on it. And I think that's much more practical for ourselves. We may not have gone to Ananya Bhakti, but wherever we are, how should we understand, how devoted we are? I think something for us to look at and think. And we'll gather again next week to continue from where we left off. Sai Ram, everyone. We'll close with Samastaloka. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Ganesh
Sai Ram.
Chaturthi.
Same.